Alright guys, welcome back to another Complexity Cast presentation. I'm your casting host Beef, bringing you more HoN Tour action. Complexity versus Pencils Game 2 right now, going into, well, we'll see if this is the final game or not. Complexity could close out the series right here, or does Pencils have what it takes to bring it back to a Game 3? We will have to see, guys. Complexity looked very, very strong in that first game. Just really making very few mistakes. I mean, we saw Wretched Hag get picked off there at the end. Not a huge deal, but looking very, very strong in general. So we'll see what it goes into. Going into Game 2. Blind bans coming out. Ophelia and Wild Soul being banned by Pencils. I believe those are the same bans. And Complexity keeping it similar as well with Parasite and Fade. So once again, both of these teams do not like seeing those heroes in the game. We already talked about just why those heroes are so strong. Global map presence, suicide potential, pushing potential, ganking potential. All of them. Very, very versatile. And so we're not going to be seeing them this time. Lockpick now coming out. First lock, Pablo McDad going to get that Pebbles. So once again, that's actually not the first lock. That was first pick last time. So we'll see if... Looks like Pencils might want to use that this time. We'll see. We'll see. Tempest and Keeper of the Forest going to make their way into the lockpick as well for B-Kid. So Complexity, two of their heroes that they love using. Keeper of the Forest especially a very, very nice hero to have around. Warbeast, Plague Rider going to make it in as well. And finishing out is going to be Bubbles. So a very, very similar lock pool to what we in fact had last time. Warbeast was banned last time, but if you take Warbeast out of the equation, I believe the lock pool was identical with the exception of a Luna. No, not a Luna. Somebody else was in there instead of Pebbles, and Warbeast would have been replaced by Electrician. Rhapsody was in there instead of Pebbles. So the other four, the suiciding heroes, Tempest, Keeper of the Forest, Plague Rider, and Bubbles, of course, all very, very much so are in fact great junglers, suicides. So that's why you see them up there. Plague Rider, of course, not a jungler, but he's probably one of the best suicides in the game, of course. Banning phase now, we do have Zephyr, Tundra, Dark Lady, Silhouette, Draconis, and Nymphora coming out. So Pablo McDad of Pencils did in fact ban the Bird, once again, Dark Lady as well as Draconis. So getting some of those strong, hard carry farming heroes out of there. B-Kid bans Silhouette, not so too surprised to see that one. It bans Tundra actually, and Nymphora. So wants to make sure that the global presence is very much so minimized. And first pick coming out right now is in fact Engineer. So very, very interesting. Engineer, of course, such a strong hero in terms of ganking ability, in terms of supporting. He's got that team fight ability within that energy field that's able to get that purge, consistent damage, and the zoning utility from that. So, of course, very strong. Many would, in fact, consider him a very, very strong first pick hero and one of the best supports in the game. Lanes very well with a Magmus, which some people have been saying, especially Tralf, and of course B-Kid agrees with this as well, that Magmus is one of the strongest heroes in the game right now, certainly first pick worthy. And we didn't see him last game. He was not banned, he was not picked. Goes very well with the Engineer. So if Magmus is not picked up right here, you can almost, I would say you can almost guarantee that Magmus will be second picked over here for the Pencils team. But we shall have to see, guys. Luna, the first pick for Complexity. So both of these teams wanting to get their all of their supports out of the way very, very soon here. Sorry guys if I'm getting a little bit distracted. I'm doing the solo cast right now, and I'm also trying to manage the production side of things, keeping all the scoreboards updated and whatnot, making sure everything is still going correctly with the delay, making sure that results are getting out there and posted, all that. So I'm trying to do it all. I can let you know right now that I'm hoping that I will be able to have a co-caster for tomorrow and for the future for these, but it's very hard to actually get somebody the credentials for these HoN Tour games. But we'll do our best over here at Complexity, and you guys just try to enjoy it and understand if I do have to do some stuff real quick there. updating everything, all that kind of nonsense. So Magebane is actually the pick over here for complexity. Now that's very interesting. Haxton, of course, does play a very solid Magebane, but he's not a hero that we see too often in the current meta game. You know, maybe 5-6 months ago, we were seeing him all the time. Pretty much every game he was banned or picked. Magebane pickers was a very common phrase there. So interesting. And Magnus gets picked up here by Complexity as their last standard pick, as Flux and Wretched Hag come out for pencils. So very interesting that Flux is actually being picked right now. That's a hero that we do not see very often in the competitive scene at all. In fact, I cannot remember the last time that I saw him. He's been out for a year and a half now. And I remember for the first 3 or 4 months, people were saying, Flux is a strong hero. When are we going to see him in competitive play? And he's gotten a few buffs since then. And now we might actually start seeing him in competitive play. We'll see if Pencils can make something happen with him. Wretched Hag, of course, that strong carry potential, solo side lane potential. We'll see what they choose to do with that one, as it looks like Flensmaster is going to be playing that one. But already finishing up right here, let's go through the lock picks very, very quickly. We do, in fact, have first lock coming out of Pablo McDad's Pencils, going to be Keeper of the Forest. So they're going to pick that one up, the strong suicide or jungle potential. It looks like they're going to run him in a suicide role as, well, actually Pablo McDad is their suicide player, and he is on Flux. So Sweet Pro looks like he's going to be going into the jungle, and they're going to be running a suicide Flux. So how about that? Flux is running up there right now, and he does not have a ward on him. So that's... Okay, so they had to upgrade the courier right there to get that ward out to him very fast. So very interesting, a little bit of a mistake. Maybe I'm not quite sure if that was intended or not. And of course, rounding out the lockpick was this Pebbles. So Pebbles going to go to the other side. Last week we cast some games where Warbeast and Moon Queen, no matter what team those two heroes were on, that team was winning. So we'll see if that is in fact going to be the case here with Pebbles today. Let me get that overlay changed up once again. Wretched Hag going to solo this side lane. Now over to Complexity. First pick that they had was in fact a Luna as well as the Magebane. Followed that one up with Magnus, and they rounded that up with Bubbles and Tempest. So Tempest going to be down here denying. Bubbles going to get the suicide. And it's very interesting how similar the lanes are. They've got the Tempest in the jungle. They've got the suicide Bubbles once again here for the Hellborn side. So very, very interesting. Windmander going to make his way down there once again, as he's already run out and dropped that ward. Ward already there for Pablo McDad as well. And so it's not going to be a suicide Flux. So that was very interesting to me. A suicide Flux would have been quite cool. But it's going to be a long lane engineer Flux with this middle lane going to be just Pebbles. And Pebbles is going to have a very, very hard time going up against Magnus and a Luna. So we shall see. We shall see. Magnus and Luna with a ton of kill potential. I cannot see Relo getting any farm here in this middle lane. Like literally no farm. They're going to have to rotate this engineer. Okay, engineer's heading back down now. So they put the Flux up here with the engineer for the time being in case they were to run that Pebbles in the short lane like they did last time. But then they rotated it immediately. So good call. Good call. They needed to make that happen, because if that Pebbles was left there solo mid, he was going to have an extremely bad time. But now the lanes are all evened up. A suicide versus a short lane, a suicide versus a short lane, and dual lane mids. Both of them going to be playing relatively passive junglers. Tempest, of course, does have the option to gank with that Glacial Blast, but more than likely we'll see Chassis just waiting, getting that level 5, level 6 before he starts the pushes coming out right there. Lava Surge comes in as well as some auto attacks. The power throw, and down goes Relo. Pebbles is going to fall right there. First blood goes to Magnus Luna. I mean, that's right there. That is the power of Complexity's middle lane. I talked about that Relo is going to have very hard time in that lane by himself. Even with the engineer right there, you see the burst potential that comes out of this Magnus and Luna lane. Magnus Engineer, we talk about that one all the time, the strength of that lane. But Luna, she puts out even more damage than that Engineer. Her CC is fantastic if she's able to get that stun off. So nice job there from Complexity, putting themselves off to a very, very early lead. Moon Meander down here in good lane position due to the deny from Tempest. Unfortunately, Wretched Hag going to have to play up into his tower quite a bit. Moon able to get that Ring of the Teacher quite early here, so going to be nice for him. If we take a look at the CS down here, actually, Moon actually getting aggressive right now as he ports in with that that Shell Surf, going to be able to land a couple more auto attacks, and Flensmeister going to have to back off as he does not want to have to take too much more harassment. Potions up right there, but Moon doing an excellent job down there. And in the top lane, Pablo McDad actually doing a great job against Haxorn on this mage bait. So I want to, okay, so many things to talk about. Bubbles, I want to talk about his CS real quick. 11-2 as opposed to the 8-3 of the Wretched Hag. This is a suicide Bubbles. Bubbles as a suicide does great in a lot of positions, but he's got good lane position right here. And Moon is showing that he can do whatever it takes to really win this lane. So nice job there from Complexity, giving Moon a lane that he can win. Now top lane, we see a Iron Shield being picked up here on Mage Bane. So something that you don't always see, but with the amount of harassment that Pablo McDad is putting out onto Haxorn right now, I do enjoy this pickup. With these two Crushing Claws, Flux actually hits relatively hard right there, and you can see he can do that all day long. The pull in right there, Magnetic Surge costs 20 mana there at level 1, and every time that he does that, he's getting a little bit of damage from that. It is in fact auto attack damage, yeah, attack damage plus 30% of strength. So that's why those Crushing Claws are so important. Mid lane, Lava Surge coming out right there. So Reload's trying to get Magnus down, but not quite able to. And now Fine is trying to turn it around. But Magnus, with another Lava Surge, could be able to turn this one around. No, it actually looks like Fine might try to get the last auto attacks here. And no, the last one is in fact disjointed right there. So B-Kid playing it very, very sketchy right there as he is... Whew, he almost died, but able to get out of there at the last minute. Looked like Relo on that Pebbles just wanted to land a good combo right there, but they weren't quite able to get Magnus down. He's a slippery snake indeed. But top lane, I mean, Magnetic Surge on this Flux right here. He's able to put out a lot of auto attack harassment. Now, once Mage Bane's up here at level 5 or so, he's going to be able to just walk up to Flux, take a couple of those auto attacks, and burn his mana, so the auto attack potential is going to be significantly diminished, and he's not going to be able to cast those spells, of course. So I think Hax should have a good time, especially once he gets something like a Life Tube in this lane. I think Haxorn should be just fine, but I'm very interested to see how this Flux is going to do overall, who's currently at 13-3 as opposed to the 26-9 of Haxorn. So even though Haxorn is taking quite a bit of harassment in that lane, he's certainly winning it in terms of CS, which is really all you need to do as that hard carry. Back here in the middle lane, B-Kid at 16-1 currently on the Magnus, as opposed to the 22-2 of this Pebbles. So Pebbles actually doing a very nice job right now of getting the farm down here as the Slagmites come out, the Keg as well as the turret, the Chuck as well, but a nice job of getting that Lava Surge on out of there. Hits Relo, and Relo actually stuck up on a creep right there. 2 more auto attacks might be enough, but no, the potion comes out in addition to the bottle charges, and Relo is going to be just fine for the time being. That was almost very scary. Another power throw would have certainly done him in at that point. Now, Flux being ferried out some items right there does in fact pick up boots as well as Ring of the Teacher, so that's going to enable him to really use that Ring of the Teacher, swap the armor aura on and off for the creeps, and try to screw up some of the last hits for Mage Bane. Middle lane, more engagements coming out right here. The Invisible Pebbles, though, Magnus is in some trouble as the root comes out, and down goes B-Kid. The score now evened up at 1-1 here in the middle lane as B-Kid and Relo have both fallen once per hero. The point heroes for both teams in the middle lane have both taken a fall, so that's important to note. Evens things out quite a bit, although Complexity does find themselves in an early advantage. Not too significant gold and experience advantage, but the golden ranch might be equalized here as Keeper of the Forest is trying to push something down, but not quite going to happen. Taking another brief look here at bottom, Moon Meander looking absolutely fantastic, to be quite honest with you. He's at 28-4 in terms of CS, as opposed to the 22-6 Wretched Hag down here. So doing a very nice job with the CS. He's already able to pick up that Ring of the Teacher. He's able to grab the bottle and that the boots. With that bottle, he has in fact grabbed a haste rune. So going to make use of that relatively soon here, as he's got about another minute and 20 seconds on that one we'll see what he chooses to do with that one. With a couple of those bottle charges, he's going to have enough health and mana to really get aggressive. I think he'll probably make his way toward middle lane to gank, because he's not likely going to be able to take out Hag unless he gets a lot of auto attack harassment in on her beforehand. Now Tempest up here in combination with this Mage Bane, the Emerald Lightning coming in, as well as the Glacial Blast, the Power Throw, and the Mana Rift to finish him off. Mage Bane brings home that kill, and so Pablo McDad takes the first fall up there for that Flux, and they're going to be able to get this tower easily. They're probably even going to try to take two, but a nice job, a good flank from Aluna, using that power supply, getting those charges up and able to get in there behind Flux, sets up the Emerald Lightning as well as the Power Throw, which was very, very necessary to get that gank off. Now, Bubbles is over here with the Haste Rune activated already, and it looks like he's trying to run for his life. The Stalagmites missed there from Pebbles, so going to have to back off for the time being. The push continues up here as the Tempest Elementals as well as the Hell Cannon get to work on this tower, but as those Tempest Elementals do despawn here, or die actually, in just a second, this push is going to be stopped for the time being, but already getting about 70% of the tower's health done. That's a good, secure win for Complexity, so I like that quite a bit. Moonmeander going in right here on Wretched Hag. The Kelp Field actually not going to be hitting right there. The potion already interrupted, and Hag's looking for a way to teleport out. She's got teleport in 2 seconds, but a nice Song of the Sea right there, and she's going to TP on out of there using that blink. The Shell Serve actually might have caught her. No, it might have caught her there at the very end, but not quite able to. Magnus, he's saying it's raining creeps over here. Gets hit by one, but immediately picks up the creep kill on that. So says, hey, thanks, Relo. I got 50 gold out of that. But Relo saying, hey, got you to waste some of your charges on your bottle. Not a big deal. And the push going to be coming out now from Pencils here in the middle lane, saying, hey, you guys took our top tower. We're going to take your middle tower, try to equalize this situation. Magnus is, of course, here, and with that Lava Surge, he does have some anti-push potential, but he's going to wait until the rest of his team gets here. The Tempest is there with Mana Ring, and Magnus is ready to go in. The Elemental Void catching 2 players right there, but no, Tempest is in trouble now as the root comes out, and down goes Tempest. Sweet Pro grabs the tower and the kill onto Chessie right there. The Flux pull as well, and Aluna's in some trouble as the Stalagmites come out. The Keg is going to hit. Sonar Scream and the Chuck to finish him off. Relo picks that one up, and all of a sudden, Pencils finds themselves in a 3-2 hero kill advantage. They're still down in terms of gold and experience, but with this tower in the middle lane, they could easily put themselves in the gold lead and take a lead, really, for the first time in this game and in this series. Magnus comes in right here with the Keg stun, though. It's going to follow up onto Moonmeander and Haxer. They're going to turn their attention toward this Engineer. The Kelp Field, blind Kelp Field right there. A nice job from Moon knowing where that hero was going to be, and they follow them on in there, but both players are invis for the time being. Sweet Pro and Fine trying to get their way out of there. And a nice job from Pencils. Actually, they're going to catch Sweet Pro right there. He doesn't have enough mana for another invis, and down he goes. Moonmeander picks up that kill with the Shell Surf. And actually, Fine going to be caught out right here as the invis does wear off. Glacial Blast and Tempest Elemental is going to be all that it takes. Oh! Fine might actually get out of there. He's making a run for it. The combo comes out onto Tempest, though. But Relo going to be in some trouble now as he, in fact, falls. Fine does fall, as well as B-Kid picks up that kill on Haxorn picks up the kill onto Fine, so Complexity quickly finds himself in a substantial advantage. 2,600 gold lead and a 2,500 experience lead here at only 10 minutes into this game. That's a very, very significant advantage, as Sustainer as well as Steam Boots already picked up here for Mageman, going to be making his way toward a very quick Battle Fury in this game. Complexity looks to be very, very strong right now. Pebbles, he was looking good there in the middle lane for a little while, but his farm has dropped off. He's at 1-2-1 in terms of hero kills right now, and only at 279 GPM. Talk about where B-Kid was in comparison to the last game. B-Kid was at like 450 GPM as opposed to this 270 GPM here on the Pebbles. Not where you need to be. You need to get that early farm on your initiators, and not quite able to get it. So Pencil's looking in rough shape right here, as they did just lose their middle tower as well. Bottom lane TP is going to be coming in. The Glyph of Fortification activated. Stalagmite's going to catch Moonmeander right there, and a toss going to be getting a creep on there as well. The last hit goes to Moon, and he's able to shell surf on out of there. Fantastic plays from the Suicide player here for Complexity. The kelp field catches the Engineer right there, and the take cover. Moon is on fire right now. Sidestep king indeed. They're going to catch a Luna with that root right there. The energy field comes out as well, and they toss Bubbles right there. In fact, Engineer going to be in some trouble as he dies from the tower. Tower gets kill. And Moonmeander gets credit for it. Magnus is here now with that invis. Relo is going to be in some trouble still. One more auto attack from Moon. He needs a shell surf, and the shell surf comes out right there. Moon gets a double tap plus the tower kill, so Moon is in a fantastic position. Tree Dog's being summoned, but they're not going to be able to run down Moon. He's just too slippery of an amphibian as he gets on out of there. Magnus now tangling with Keeper of the Forest and goes in with the Lava Surge right there. Maybe wants to make something happen, but he needs to be careful as Flux is coming in. Flux does he have his ultimate up? He does not have his ultimate available for the time being. Sorry, cooldowns got turned off right there for the time. But back here in the top lane, Haxtron all the while was farming only about 600 gold off of that rune cleaver at this point, as he does get his first broadsword delivered right there. And Complexity just compounding their lead at this point, showing why they are considered to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest team right now. They are just not a team to make mistakes. They capitalize on the mistakes. They force mistakes out of their opponents and then capitalize on them, like we saw there in that bottom lane. And Moonmeander catches Sweet Pro right there. Kelpfield, Song of the Sea, and Shell Surf to finish him off. Sweet Pro actually dies to neutral creeps right there. That's got to be a little bit frustrating for Moon, but you know, a kill is a kill. Sets Keeper of the Forest back quite a bit, even if Moon doesn't get the full gold or experience. Not a huge deal. He's looking fine by himself. Now, Flensmeister actually gets the kill on Haxtron up there in the top lane. Assist coming out by Relo. So a nice job. I assume that that was just a combo coming in from Pebbles, as well as the follow-up with Flensmeister. He did actually did use the Bat Blast as well as the Sonar Scream there. So Mageman going to fall. It's going to set Haxtron back. He is 700 gold off of that Battle Fury still, the Rune Cleaver. So going to make his way towards that, but going to be set back a little bit by that kill. Not the hugest of deals, but this does open up a possible tower push up here. One TP going to be coming in the form of Moonmeander on that Bubbles. Going to pick up a couple creep kills as the Pencils team does in fact start to make his way back to the base. Retreating for now. Beacon in the bottom lane, going to be hit by a keg right there. The pull in from Flux, but the Lava Surge away at the last minute, and Magnus is going to be in just fine shape. So this is why we don't really see Flux too often. I mean, without a portal key, without very strong farm, a snipe comes out right there from a Luna, grabbing fine Franzi. Absolutely brutally sick right there. So sorry I didn't catch that one, guys. How could I have known that Franzi was going for the snipe on a player that I think I assumed fine, probably assumed as well that he was going to be just fine, but no. Franzi picks that one back up. Complexity starts to work on these triple stacked Ancients over here, and that's going to be very nice for Magnus, who will probably be picking up his portal key now that he does in fact have 2,200 gold. More power throws coming out of Aluna, and Aluna picking up one or two of these would be very, very nice for her farm, but no, it looks like it's all going to go to Haxtron, who's going to be very close, only 150 gold off now from his Rune Cleaver. Portal key does pick up right there on Magnus to add to the portal key that's already been acquired on Bubbles. So 3 so far, as Tempest picks his up as well, as with the blink from Mageman. You could say that they've got a lot of initiation and mobility, so very, very good play. Very nice items coming out here from the Complexity team so far. Now, Pencils, they're by all means still in this. They have the heroes that they need. They've got that Keeper of the Forest. They've got the Wretched Hag. They've got Pebbles. They've got heroes to make big plays. They've got heroes to make nice ganks, good team fight, good push. They've just got to really catch Complexity off guard. They've got to force some mistakes out of Complexity, get better position coming up into one of these team fights, and have a really nice team fight come out. Follow up with that. Pebbles is going to be getting his portal key very soon here at about another 150 gold. And with that, he's going to be able to start picking off players like this Aluna. Might be able to pick off somebody like the Tempest, although Tempest right now does have a Mighty Blade. So he's sitting at a comfortable 1,100 life. Magebane, on the other hand, with the int boots right now, is quite a bit lower, sitting at only 700 life now that he's on Steam boots. Actually, what did he just pick up? His life just went up by a bunch. Okay, he did switch to Steam boots. It's just not changing there in the window. So, going to be a nice, easy pick-off for Pebbles if Pebbles can land the combo properly onto that Magebane. And, of course, Bubbles will be able to as well. Top lane, though. Kelpfield comes out onto Flinsmeister's tag. The Mana Rift cleans him up. Engineer drops the energy field, but it's not going to be enough. And Haxorn even going to bring home the kill on the energy field generator as well. And in the jungle, Magnus comes in, dropping the Eruption Lava Surge right there. The Tempest Elemental Void comes out onto Keeper of the Forest as well, and Complexity brings home 3 easy kills, showing their initiation, their gank potential in this fight, and finds himself now in an 8,000 gold lead, 6,500 experience lead. They're going to be able to take this top tower easy peasy, no problem, and they might even be able to look at pushing the mid tower as well. We'll see. Pebbles utilizing that portal key that he just picked up right there, so not going to be trying to gank anybody with it right now, but Pencils is very far behind at this point. A 10,000 gold lead at 18 minutes into this game. I mean, that's we're getting into somewhat insurmountable territory right here. They are very, very behind. They need to make some ganks happen. The 5 hero kills that they have, let's actually take a look at the last time that they got a hero kill was 6 minutes ago. So not a whole lot of time ago, but I mean, Complexity is just getting so many hero kills that are completely unresponded to by the Pencils team over here. So they got to make something happen, and they're trying to make something happen up here at the top defensive Tier 1 tower. We'll see if Complexity chooses to defend this or if they're comfortable with their counter pushes here. Middle, and just letting this one drop. In fact, they are going to let it drop as Relo gets the last hit for that one with one big rock fist to the face. That tower does, in fact, fall. Do towers have faces? I don't know. I'm going to say that they do. The Legion team continuing their push right now, as they are going to be making their way over here. Starting to work on that tower. Bubbles does have an illusion rune activated, so hopefully the Legion team doesn't initiate onto one of those illusions, and they are able to discern that that is in fact an illusion. 2 towers going down right there, so a little bit of tower trading coming on here for both of these teams, as the Legion team continuing into the base right now, and I don't necessarily agree with this. You have to make something happen, but this is getting dangerous. When you're fighting on this tower right here, if buybacks happen, the player is able to get back very, very quickly. Pushing up this tower is very hard to do. So we'll see. Keeper of the Forest, though, with those minions and the Ballista in the background, they're able to take down this tower relatively fast. Complexity's not responding to this just yet, and Complexity might be in shape to lose one of their towers here. Tempest is in the bottom lane pushing out the rest of the towers, which would be the last outer tower remaining for the Pencils team, and they might be comfortable trading this outer tower here while trying to defend this one up here. And it looks like Complexity will in fact be able to get this bottom tower, and Tempest should be able to portal back in time. Actually, the combo coming out onto Haxorn right there. In comes the tree root. Haxorn going to go down. Bubbles shortly thereafter. A nice ultimate, though. And in comes Beacon. A huge eruption. Going to grab 2 players. 3 going to follow. And 5 are now down as Complexity takes a huge team fight right there. A genocide coming out, and that's what I'm talking about. The buyback from Haxorn right there, able to get back into that fight so quickly. They lost the tower, but who cares? They took the genocide. They were able to get 3 towers because of that push, and Complexity now in a 12,000 experience and gold lead are just absolutely dominating this game. Level 14 Magnus, level 14 Magebane. It's absolutely absurd how farmed these guys are right here. Let's take a look at the gold graph. 400 gold on 400 GPM on 3 or more players. It's absolutely ridiculous how farmed this team is. 370 GPM here for Moonmeander as well. Even Francie, the support at 270 GPM or 240 GPM, out farming the Suicide here for Pencils. I mean, Pablo McDad on this Flux, he does have that portal key, which is a very nice item to have, of course, on that Flux. But what did it really matter in that last team fight? They were able to combo down Haxorn. Haxorn bought back immediately Didn't even matter. In comes Bubbles, lands the Shell Surf, Song of the Sea, Kelp Field on 4 players right there. And then Magnus just comes in with the cleanup crew. The Eruption hitting 3 players, killed 2 of them. Tempest going to be coming in right here with the Glacial Blast. Magnus shortly there to follow as the Lava Surge comes out, catching 2 players. The Tempest Elemental Void comes out, and Haxorn's going to get to work on these players now. It looks like Haxorn might not actually be able to finish anybody off. Relo on that Pebble's going to be falling, though, and it looks like Pencils is in some trouble. Sweet Pro going to be the next to fall as well, and it looks like Pablo McDad on Flux died there once more. Fine on the Engineer, going to be the next as he's trying to push himself away, but 1 Lava Surge is all that it takes. No, he got juked. B-Kid goes the wrong direction, and Fine is actually doing an incredible job of juking up here. Haxorn's trying to chase him down. They should have vision on him now. In fact, he did just walk by a ward of sight, so Engineer in some trouble, certainly, as the Lava Surge comes down right there. Haxorn and Moonmeander clean that one up. Moon gets the kill. Fine screaming, team? A familiar call to all that play Heroes of Newerth. Where the hell is my team? But Wretched Hag, the only member of his team that was alive, is in fact trying to get as much farm as he can here in the middle lane. Boost that farm up just a little bit more. He's sitting at 303 GPM right now, which, if you take a look at the gold per minute for this Legion team, 320 on Pebbles, 300 on Hag, 280 on Keeper of the Forest. Like, that's not bad, to be honest. Like, that's not awful. Oh, Flux coming in right there, using the 3 portal keys that the Legion team had. They try to catch somebody right there. But then you look at the other team. It's all relative. 500 GPM on Haxorn, 400 GPM on 3 other players here. That's why it's a problem. Even though they're farming well, because of all the towers that they've pushed, 2 in the top lane, 1 in the middle, and 1 more here. The second going to be falling here in the middle. Oh, Pebbles trying to catch somebody out right there, the Stalagmites, but now he's a little bit out of position. The Red Emerald Lightning comes in, the Kelp Field going to be activated, Shell Surf, Song of the Sea comes in, Hag going to turn it around though with the Sono Scream Bat Blast, tries to get Moonmeander, but no, Magnus comes in with the Lava Surge, the Flux pull in though, and the Root going to catch them out as well. Magnus channeling that Eruption, going to hit 2 players right there, and Pencils once again in a little bit of a bad position, 4 players down, and the only player not there, Fine, is the only player to survive. B-Kid pulls out another hat trick, 450 GPM, 9, 1, and 9 on the Swagmas right here. B-Kid showing it how it is done. So 24-8 for Complexity right now. 18,000 gold lead, 23,000 experience lead. Complexity turns their attention to Kongor, and at this point, Pencils just has to be saying to themselves, I mean, what are we going to do? What can we do? Every time they seem to get into a team fight, Magnus just ends up destroying them. The AoE stun potential, the Red Emerald Lightning, the Lava Surge, the Kelp Field, all these things are just so strong in these team fights. And I'm not even talking about the ultimates yet. I'm just talking about the stun potential here from the Complexity team. So strong. These players are so ridiculously farmed. Moonmeander is sitting on a Storm Spirit, a Gnome's Wisdom, in addition to all of his standard items, the Portal Key, the Steam Boots. At 435 GPM right now, that's a very scary looking Bubbles. Shrunken Heads being picked up on both Tempest as well as Magnus now to complement their portal keys. That's how B-Kid was able to get that ultimate off right there. Just turned on that Shrunken Head in the middle of that team fight. Stood in the middle of all that just cacophony. Oh, Kelpfield catches out Relo right there, who was just baited in Glacial Blast as well as the Lava Surge come in, and Relo going to fall once again. Tempest Elemental Void going to come out as Magnus pounds in the auto attacks, going to be able to auto attack down Flux right there. In comes the Moonmeander Cyclone onto that Wretched Hag. Haxorn going to come back in with that Token of Life, start pounding in auto attacks as well. Tempest diving in right there, catches out Engineer. Bubble's going to come in as well, wants to be able to finish off that Keeper of the Forest. The Keg comes back as it looks like Fine does in fact buy back right there. Root going to come out, so they're going to be able to catch Haxer and the Aegis of Life going to bring him back up. Magnus comes in with an ultimate, but not managing to hit anybody. He's just standing there in his own filth. Moonmeander, another nice take cover. A nice Lava Surge going to be coming in right there. And Sweet Bro could be going down here, but no, Sweet Bro's able to get through there, direct pathing through the well, and he's able to get out of there. Moonmeander going to fall, though, to a Sonar Scream, and it looks like Complexity getting a little bit too over-aggressive at this point, as now Franzi's in some trouble. That Astrolabe not going to save you for now. Bound Eye actually going to be picked up, and Tempest going to fall as well. Haxerin might even die once more. So, yeah, Hax is going to die right there, and that is big throws coming out for the Complexity team. Perhaps getting a little bit too overzealous, saying, hey, this game's over. We can just kind of do whatever we want. And now with 4 players down, they're trying to chase down this Magnus. Bubbles did, in fact, buy back, so you can see that right there. And they're trying to catch B-Kid, but no, the Battle of the Portal Keys is one that will be won by the guy with Lava Surge as well. Oh, man. They're trying to get the racks down, and Complexity didn't take any racks right here. So if they're able to get racks down while Complexity is dead, this could very well be a game. We saw 2 weeks ago, last weekend, whenever that was. Actually, Magnus comes in with a big Lava Surge right there. Tempest does buy back. The Glacial Blast being applied onto Keeper of the Forest. Moonmeander did, in fact, fall right there to Flensmeister using the Hellfire that he just picked up. And Complexity now has to reap the sorrows of the little bit of throw right there as they lose the melee ranks. Relo going to start pounding damage into the range racks, but Pencil's saying, okay, we got the the melee ranks. We're a little bit back in this. Got to back up and not throw this. We've been given a little bit of a lifeline here, so they're going to back up for the time being. And Complexity, I mean, for everything, all these team fights that they were winning, the strength of their heroes, the items, they have to make sure that they don't do that. Because if they lose another racks, they could very well find themselves in a situation like TTEs did against QSQ when TTEs grabbed 1 early racks, was 30,000 gold and experience behind, but that 1 early racks was able to keep them in the game long enough. Haxer coming in right here. Hax gets the root applied right here, and he's going to be going down once again. Haxer caught out of position. Tempest could very well be falling as well as the Chuck comes out, and Chessie falls as well. Complexity, I mean, I talked earlier about how they do not make mistakes, but they are straight up throwing right now. They're letting the jubilation, the elation of the moment get to them, and they are going to lose another tower, if not that other ranged Drax up there. Tempest cannot buy back. Haxerin on that Mage Main cannot buy back right here. This is looking kind of sketchy. Complexity does have the ability to hold off on this tower for a little bit of time here. Keeper of the Forest does not have a root. Actually, Moonmeander going to come in right there. Shell Surf, Song of the Sea to get on out. And they're trying to hold on to this tower as long as they can. More trees have been summoned as they are, in fact, trying to get this tower down. They've got 20 seconds until Tempest and Mage Main are back up, and all they want to do for the time being is get this tower down. As more creep. Actually, Flux comes in right here. The Kelp Field applied to 3 players. B-Kid's in a little bit of trouble as the Storm Spirit comes out right there, but going to be comboed on by this Pebbles. The Bat Blast comes out, and B-Kid going to fall right there. Pencils is looking absolutely perfect right here, doing exactly what they need to do. Both players going to be coming back up, though, as B-Kid buys back. He's going to come in. Portal Key as well as the Lava Surge here. He catches Relo. Pebbles is going to go down as well as Pablo McDad on that Flux, and the Mana Rift going to finish off fine for 684 damage. Now Complexity is in the driver's seat once again, showing that they got their heads screwed back on straight. They're going to be making their way toward the mid lane, even out the rack situation, and then maybe look to take it back into a more normal game. We'll see, but more buybacks had to be used right there. 4 buybacks have been used so far for the Complexity team, as opposed to only 1 for Pencils. Fine buying back once on that Engineer. But Complexity, with only 2 players up for the Pencils team, should have an easy time at these racks here. The only person not with them is Magnus. I guess Luna's not with them as well, but not the biggest of deals. Keeper of the Forest Ultimate is back up, but Bat Blast is down. So Pencil's going to have a hard time engaging into this one, even though their players are up in just a couple more seconds here. The racks situation does get evened up. The Hellfire being applied there onto Bubbles. Not quite sure if he knew that that was an illusion or not. Probably wouldn't want to waste that cooldown on illusion if he did. If he did actually know that that was an illusion. Mage Main picks up an Abyssal Skull as well as a Frostburn. We haven't gotten to talk about items very much in this game because it has been so action-packed here. A total of 47 hero kills now at 31 minutes into the game, so very, very nice, of course. Hax picks up the Frostburn as well as the Abyssal Skull. Hag, of course, does have that Hellflower as well as the Ogre Staff that she's been using, the Mighty Blade, excuse me. So she's going to be working on that Shrunken Head, Portal Key, as well as Astrolabe, Plated Greaves, and the Bound Eye that they picked up from the Complexity team over here on the Keeper of the Forest. Engineer has a pretty decent farm with his Ghost Marchers. He's got his coat on, Power Supply, and a Major Totem, so going to be working toward a Push Stick, something that's, of course, very nice to have against quite a few heroes on the Complexity team. Pebbles with that Soul's Blessing, or excuse me, Soul's Bulwark. I always want to call it Soul's Blessing, but that's the Jereziah aura. And so he's got that Portal Key as well as one component of the Hellfire, the Arcana right there. So going to be working on his own Hellfire. Tower falls very, very quickly right there as that Soul's Bulwark doing work. Power Throw's coming out. Bubbles comes in, Shell Surf, Song of the Sea to get on out of there with that Kelp Field as well. The negative Flux Push, a missed stun, a very rare missed stun there from Beacon. And it looks like Pencils is going to be able to get out of there without too much major damage being done. Keeper of the Forest still is in position, actually gets hit by a Power Throw right there. And the double damage from Hag has only 5 seconds left. So Pencils playing it safe. They know that they have a little bit of time right here. So not too big of a deal as they're just going to take it slow. Bobble McDad in the front lines right now with his Mighty Blade. He does have 1,300 life, which is relatively low for a Flux. Invisible Pebbles right now going to open onto Chessie. The Stalagmites as well as the toss right there. And Chessie goes down. And Magma's coming in, though, with the ultimate. Manages to hit 2 people. Flux and Engineer taking a lot of damage. Power Throw going to hit 4 as well. The Tempest ultimate catching 4 players. And that is absolutely huge, as that is a genocide in favor of Complexity. The Tempest ultimate was gigantic right there. And there goes the black hole. There goes the GGs. Pablo McDad on Flux, doing my job for me as an absolutely gigantic Tempest ultimate may well have just sealed the fate of Pencils here in this round 1 matchup. Complexity with all 5 players up there. They did have to buy back on Tempest to make that one happen, but they are looking like they might want to finish the game. They're actually backing off right now as buybacks are coming in left and right from the Pencils team there. Buybacks were used on 4 out of the 5 players. Everyone other than Engineer does buy back. So a great job from Pencils having the wherewithal to be able to buy back after that and defend the racks. But spending 4 buybacks there, that's a huge amount of gold that you just spent. And those players are just, they're probably pretty demotivated by, demoralized even, by that last team fight. Ugh, pretty rough. More banter coming up between these two teams. This is in fact being played on Europe, as have both of the other games. With 3 players in Europe right now, you could even say that Complexity is a European team for the time being. Moon, of course, is still in Denmark living with Haxerin, and Chessie, of course, over there in Sweden. So that could be a little bit why B-Kid did in fact miss maybe 1 or 2 of those stuns. EU lag, of course. Pencils going in for another push right here. They know they're super far behind, that they need to secure some racks as this tower does going to be falling here. The Kelpfield comes out, the Shrunken Head being activated there. The Lava Surge and Wretched Hag going to be the first casualty of this team fight. Quickly turning his attention to Engineer, and he's going to fall shortly thereafter. The root being applied from Keeper of the Forest. There's no Tempest ultimate for the time being. Magnus wants to come in. Another Lava Surge hitting 2 players. Flux going to fall, and Pebbles shortly thereafter. Keeper of the Forest is the last player remaining. The vote to concede is put up. GG well played's coming out, and Complexity takes the game 2-0 over Pencils right there. I mean, it looked like a little bit of throws very, very shortly there, but no, Complexity, they managed to pull it out, and a very nice game at the end there. 40,000 experience lead and 30,000 gold lead, so coL looking dominant. Little bit of throws, but they recovered nicely, and they're going to be advancing on to the second round in the winner's bracket. Pencils will be dropping down into the losers, so we'll keep an eye on to them. They're now only 1 series from elimination here in this top 16 diamond bracket, and if they lose their next series, they will actually be dropping down into the gold division. So Got to make sure that Pencil stays up here in the diamond. I'll let you know as soon as I know who their opponent's going to be in the next round. But guys, that is it for HoN Tour Round 1. Let's go ahead and get this title updated right here. Complexity takes it 2-0 over Pencils. Complexity off to a nice strong start here in the HoN Tour Cycle 1. This has been Complexity Casting with me, your casting host, Beef. Make sure to check out Complexity and all of our HoN Tour coverage over at complexitygaming.com. Make sure to check out Facebook, Complexity Gaming, and over at Twitter, Complexity Live. You can check me, Beef, out at Twitter as well, at BeefPotPie1, and on YouTube, youtube.com/BeefPotPie1, where the VODs from all of our HoN Tour matches will be going up. You can check out all of our stuff that we do here on Complexity Cast. That's scrims Monday through Thursday. VODs from that are up at youtube.com/PeterPandem. We're working on an info section right now for the stream right below you, so that you guys will be able to very, very quickly and easily access all these links that I'm talking about right now. But bear with me for the time this weekend. Guys, we're going to be going on a quick break while we try to figure out when the next games are going to be coming up. I believe that the next games are at 15:30 EST, which is 12:30. That's in an hour and a half. So I'm actually going to be turning the stream off in between games. But we'll come back online once we get that started. Going to leave it on for just a quick time right now. Run a few commercials. Once again, guys, huge shout-outs to all of you for watching. Big shout-outs to Complexity and Pencils for providing us with these great games. Big shout-outs to S2 Games for putting on HoN Tour. It's, by all rights, going to be an absolutely fantastic tournament. And, of course, to Complexity for allowing me to be here and cast these games for you guys. And, of course, to Complexity sponsors, QPad, PNY, Sound Blaster, and Origin. All right, guys, we're going to go to a quick break. I'll let you guys know as soon as I do what the next matchup's going to be, when it's going to be. Follow on Twitter. I'll let you know right there. Have a good one, guys. I hope you enjoyed.